Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Funny Girl Abroad podcast episode. I'm stuck with the mic, at least for now. I don't know. I like it too much. Okay. Sue me. What do you want? I don't know why I got so mad. Nobody has any problems with that, at least that I have heard of. And we're all good. And we're all friends here. We're all friends around here. Let's just jump straight to today's topic. I'm going to talk about the Oscars. The Oscars are in a week as of today, but not as of whatever day it is when you're watching this. I'm recording this a little bit early, all right? So I'm going to talk about the Oscars that are in a week, and I just entered the process of watching the movies a little bit. And I'm a bit excited about that. I thought it would be a nice thing to talk about because I have been watching the Oscars for 1 year. I haven't watched the Oscars ever before last year. I think it's because I just don't recognize celebrities and I don't know much of generally pop culture. I'm not particularly fluent in pop culture. And so if you remove the part of celebrities and stuff, then it's pretty boring altogether. And then it's not fun at all. Then even the only thing that happens is you're just Googling people all the time and wondering, oh, where have I seen that person from? Like, that's about it. So it's never been particularly fun for me for that reason. I don't think anyone's surprised, by the way, about that I am not very, well versed in pop culture. I think it's pretty obvious from pretty much everything about me. I am also Greek, not to say that Greeks are not interested in pop culture. I'm pretty sure that they are, but I'm just trying to find an excuse at this point. Okay, it's obvious by everything about me. Just last week I made a whole half an hour long ass episode about a Polish snack, a Polish wafer roll. That was it. That was the idea. That was all I spoke about for a whole half hour. So that's the kind of person that I am. That's the kind of things that I talk about. You can understand already. I'm not the person you wanna watch Oscars watch party. You wanna have an Oscars watch party with, or I am exactly that person, but not for the reasons one would expect. Many times I scared myself by how bad I am with celebrities. I found it scary. Many times I have been in a room with somebody and they told me, "Oh, look, it's the blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Can you and I pretend to no because I don't want to look like an idiot, but then it ends up that I was looking at the wrong person, going like, oh my god, yes, I remember him, and I'm like, no, he's over there, where are you looking at? So it becomes obvious. I am way too obvious. One of my favorite ones that I remember was one time I was at a festival. And I think it must have been Cannes, and we were in some event, and then moving out of an event, we had to pass from backstage because of something that was delayed, and we couldn't use the basic exit. So we passed from somewhere, and then there's this guy and this woman next to him, and you can tell from their clothes and that they are celebrities, and there's people around them, and they're passing very, very quickly. They're probably on their way to some red carpet or something. And my friend looks at me like, "What?" And I'm like, yeah. And she can tell, of course, that I am not, but I have no idea who. It's like, are you serious? This is Jonas' brother. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's amazing. And Jonas, I'm gonna let this sit for a moment. Okay, not only I couldn't recognize the Jonas brother, I didn't even know about the Jonas brothers as a group. I assumed it was the brother of somebody called Jonas. That was very important. Or actually no, actually I thought that Jonas was like a character in some TV show, and the brother, and that was the guy that was playing his brother. That was my first thought. And that's why I think I'm the right person to tell you about watching the Oscars if you want to do it to like sell it to you, because I wasn't into it. But now I am. I think the thing that made it for me was that I turned it into a whole little event. So I decided that I was going to watch all the movies, which was very ambitious, okay? All the movies, not all the ones that are nominated for Best Picture, no, all of them. All of the movies in all of the categories. That was my goal for last year. Didn't quite catch it, but I really got very close. I got very close to that. I think I watched maybe like 70% of the movies that were nominated in all categories, which I was very happy for. So immediately that gets you a little bit more engaged, a little bit more excited. You're a bit more curious to see, who's gonna win. Not that it matters particularly, I mean, to me at least, but it's like a little game, You can make your own guesses, turn it into a little bit of a gambling situation. The possibilities are endless. Also, most of all, it's a nice opportunity to watch a lot of great movies. Because, okay, some of those movies you were going to watch anyways, but I don't think all of them. There's never been a year where I actually had watched all of the nominated movies in the Oscars in all of the categories accidentally, just because I watch a lot of movies. Which I do watch a lot of movies, but it never happened accidentally. It only happened when I actually tried to do that. And I watched so many movies that I wouldn't watch otherwise. I remember two animation movies I watched last year that were fantastic. I loved them. I adored them so much. I don't remember which one won the animated movie Oscar, to be honest. I do not remember. It really doesn't matter that much. But those two I was crazy for. I think one was called Mother Robot or Robot Mother, either one or the other. And the other one was called Afloat or Float or Floating, something like this. It was completely silent. It had no language, and therefore I do not remember what country it was from. I think it was from Europe, but I'm not completely sure. Fantastic movies, and I would totally have missed them if I didn't intentionally look to watch all the Oscar movies. So this alone, like if you like watching movies, this is a great little endeavor. You can begin to watch all of them, and then have it a little bit of a deadline. The Oscar becomes the deadline to watch as many as you can until the day. I actually watched most of them the same day. Like I started in the morning and I was just watching movies all day until the evening. And I did watch many that day in actual speed. Okay, I didn't set the system. I didn't double speed it. I thought about it a couple of times, but I didn't do it. Okay, that's the important thing. So I think that if you make it into this nice event, like start in the morning. Okay, no, not start in the morning. Start like a week in advance. Start a week in advance, even a month in advance, if you are very organized and prepared type of person. Gather, locate where you can watch those movies. Maybe go to the cinema for some of them. Whichever ones you prefer to watch on the big screen. Locate the movies where you can watch them, what streaming services where you can rent them and stuff. And then have a little list with all of those things. And anytime you want to watch something, just pick something from them. And then as the day comes closer, like the weekend, then you can have some nice marathons, like full day watch party and laundry or whatever else has to happen that day. So you do this the day of the Oscars, and then you pick your favorite snack, maybe some... Last year I picked cookies. I had I think 2 or 3 different tastes of cookies. But this year, you guessed it, tacos. Tacos it is. And we've made it very special. We've picked Like Trusty made sure to pick all tacos. There is all different taco tastes. I mean, chills, literal chills. We have all, I think there's six, I don't know, six, nine different taco tastes, and they're in this house as we speak. I don't know where they are because they're hidden. They're hidden from me to make sure that I don't, eat them before the time comes on the Oscars. We have to keep them until the Oscars. And then we're going to have our little taco watch party. I mean, is there anything cozier than that? Have a hard time to think anything cozier than that. So if you wanna, if you're thinking about maybe watching the Oscars, I think this is a nice way to go about it. If you find it as an opportunity to watch a lot of movies, start watching like a week in advance or a month or something like this. Turn it into a nice event. Then I 100% recommend it. I am actually very much looking forward, and I have a very busy week ahead of me. This week's gonna be a little bit stressed. So I have something to super much look forward to by Sunday or Monday, whenever it is. So I'm gonna talk a little bit maybe about some of the movies that I've watched so far. I have watched not that many. I'm gonna watch most this week, I think. And some of them I have started, but I haven't finished them. And I'm gonna finish them this week. Now, as we speak, I was watching The Secret Agent. The Secret Agent. I started watching it today, and I'm almost finished. I think maybe there's like half an hour left or something like this. But I decided to do this before it's too late, and then I'm gonna go back and continue watching. So I should finish this fast because I wanna go back to my movie. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say here. And I loved it. It's such a lovely movie, and it's just so. I mean, lovely. It's not lovely. There's nothing about it that's lovely. It's lovely to me. Okay, to me it feels lovely. It's a Brazilian movie, and it's very. You can tell that it's very Brazilian. Okay, it's not just a background. It is the movie. That's the movie. And now I'm Greek, so like watching a movie that's so much about Brazil and having such vivid characters and moments and images and stuff. It's so hard for me to explain how I feel watching that. I say like this. Have you ever seen a family fight, like on the street or somewhere outside? And you have no idea what they're fighting about. You don't know. But the way they fight, it's just like you and in your family fights. It's the exact same style. It feels like, oh my God, I know everything about it, but I know nothing about it, but I know everything. I recognize this so much. You almost want to go up to them and say, are we relatives or what? Maybe we should check. What's your surname? What's happening? Where we might be actually very closely related. It's an opportunity to test. So that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like to me to watch a Brazilian movie. And also from when I was in Brazil, I remember having this feeling 100%. It is such a weird feeling because Brazil is so far. It's a different continent. It's insane. It's not like going to another country in the Balkans because it's the Balkans. I mean, it makes sense for things to feel similar. But Brazil? There's an ocean in between. It's a completely different culture. It's across an ocean. And yet, somehow, when I watch them, I'm like, oh my God, you guys! What, you have a carnival too? What? Yeah, the one in February, and you dress crazy, and like, what? You had a military junta in the 70s? Shut up. No, you didn't. No. oh my God, we're gonna be best friends. This is how I feel about Brazil pretty much as a Greek person. It's crazy. So I watched this movie and I felt like I didn't understand anything, but also I understood everything somehow at the same time. It's extremely hard to explain. I don't know how to explain this. Another movie is the Formula One movie, which I watched a long time ago. I think that I watched this maybe a month or a few months ago. And I remember that I was so impressed by it. It didn't look like it was gonna be my type of movie. I thought I was just spending an evening watching something to relax with my dinner. But then I turned out like having the time of my life and being like glued to the screen until it was over. The suspense that you would get in the races, during the races, fascinating. Like I'd be so engaged. I thought it was impossible for me to be engaged in a race. It's just, it's a car going really fast. It's not, I can't see why I would be emotionally invested in that. It's not an easy sell, to me at least. And I was, I was, it was crazy. I was there. I mean, there. I was like biting my pillow and going like, no, put it, go faster, turn, no, to the right, like a crazy person, okay, like a completely crazy person. I had the reaction for a Formula One movie that actual fans have for the actual Formula One, or not even that, you know. It's embarrassing, if anything else. But I thought it was fantastic, and thought Brad Pitt was fantastic as well. This character seemed perfect for him. Just, yeah, overall, I had a great time watching this movie. I also yesterday watched the Norwegian movie, The Sentimental Value. I really liked it. I loved it. I was not surprised by that because I loved the previous movie that I watched of the same director as well. Lots of people loved that movie. It speaks to a lot of people. This movie called Sentimental Value, and the previous movie of the same director called, I think, Joachim Trier, I think is the name of the director. And the previous is called The Worst Person in the World. Both those movies were really relatable for a lot of people. I've discussed with a lot of people that really felt seen by those movies. Different people, all different kinds of people. I would think it would mostly be young women who hate their dad. That would be my guess. But no, it's across the board. I was extremely impressed with the actors, the American actress, and the Norwegian and Swedish actors. All just fantastic. I was so impressed with this guy, with the Swedish guy. This Hergård. I want to say the name. It's so close. It's on the name of this guy. It's not just a guy, by the way. It's a whole dynasty. Okay, it's this actor, and he has many sons, and it's like the Kardashians, but in Swedish actors. It's on the tip of my tongue. I want to say the name, but the only thing that comes is Hergårds Doctor, which is a TV show in Sweden. It's a very obscure TV show. I only know about it because they were showing it to us in Swedish lessons. Anyhow, and also those theater scenes were so. I mean, oh my God, the pain is real for me, right? Because I perform on stage as well. I mean, I'm not an actress, but I know of the stage and the stage fright, and I've never in my life seen such a such a good, like, all the way portrayal of stage fright, like real good good stage fright. Okay, when you see people in movies or in book or wherever, when you see the portrayal of stage fright, it's usually somebody just being a little scared. Okay, just being a little scared and looking a little scared. That's it. That's about it. Somebody sitting in a corner sweating. Okay, I just gonna say that was a fantastic portrayal of stage fright and probably the best one I have ever seen in my life. I also watched the movie Bugonia. It's the movie of the Greek director Yorgos Lanthimos. And you know what? I'm actually convinced that the only reason this guy hasn't gotten an Oscar yet is because if they give him an Oscar, someone's gonna have to say his name out loud into a microphone. And I suppose everybody is pretty stressed about it, okay? Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to be the one that has to do it. I loved this movie. It was so much fun to watch. I mean, of course, there were some stuff, especially towards the end, that, if you're a little sensitive with blood, let's keep it vague. Let's just say blood. Keep it easy. I don't wanna give anything away. Okay, you're a little bit sensitive. You're gonna do your finger streak, like that. three up top, then a little gap for the subtitles, and right under. Same applies for the movie Sinners, which I'm gonna talk about afterwards. But we know that. I mean, if you're this type of person like I am, you already know it. You know how to protect yourself. You know how to deal with it. You feel really bad about the characters, all of them at all times, but it doesn't take away from your entertainment. Extremely hard balance, I suppose, to get, but it just seems effortless in this movie. Honestly, all of these guys, I've watched all of these guys' movies, okay? He's also a Greek director, so I watched his first movies when I was in high school, and I've just been watching them ever since. And I would just all describe them as like really effortless movies. And even when the weirdest, craziest thing happened, it just makes sense, perfect sense inside of that universe. If you like this movie, or if you like any other of these director's movies, watch all of them. Chances are you're gonna like all of his other movies too. Maybe not the same, but I think we're gonna like all of them. So, just start from the beginning. I did this to my partner, but I didn't do it for a good reason. I'm trying to do it, but it's mostly for events, okay? It's mostly for events because every time I've said I wanna watch, I wanna watch the Avengers movie. Can we watch the Avengers movie? Every single time he's like, what? No, we can't just watch. You have to start from the beginning. Iron Man. I want to watch Iron Man. I just want to watch the Avengers movie that everybody's been talking about. If I like it, I want to go back, watch Iron Man. No. You got to start from the beginning. That's the nerd syndrome, right? You got to start from the beginning. You got to start from the beginning. You can't just watch the Star Wars, actually. What order do you want to do in Star Wars? Do you want to do this or that? No, I want to watch this one movie that I want to watch, okay? And that's the reason why when the moment came that my boyfriend came and he was like, oh, well, let's watch Poor Things. When was it? Like 2 years ago. I was like, oh, really? You want to watch Poor Things? That's adorable. You can't do that. You have to start from the beginning. No lights and incest. I watched also, I watched Marty Supreme. I really liked it. One of my favorite movies ever is Anka James, or as we now know it, Anka Jam. And I love this movie. And I love all of these movies of that micro genre, which is Adam Sandler being intense and angry, but like for real, like in a dramatic way, not in an exaggerated comedic way. Before all of those movies, there was this one movie because those directors were the first ones that saw this. They saw it. They saw this guy screaming ironically, and they thought, well, we could remove the irony and he would just be screaming and it'd be just as, it'd be pretty good acting. And they saw the dramatic Adam Sandler possibility and they did it. And it's just fantastic. I can't begin with how much I like that movie. I watched it first time when I was in school, and then a second time when I was in film school, and then a third time, like, I don't know, a year ago or whatever. I really like it. And I don't rewatch movies. I'm not the kind of person that rewatches movies. It's very, very rare. So I was extremely hyped to watch Marty Supreme, and I really liked it. I liked, of course, the performance of the guy is extremely impressive, and I kept looking at the ping pong scenes to see any sign of a double. I see nothing, and I don't think it's well hidden. I don't think there's a double. I think this guy just actually learned to table tennis that well, which is crazy. The characters are the thing that is the most fascinating to watch. They all have a certain, the characters in these guys' movies have a certain, like, they have a certain intensity about them that just makes you, that you just can't look away, you know? It's not even about the depth. It's not about the depth of the character. It's not about the situation or the predicament that they're in. It's not about what's happening to them. It's the presence. That's the word I wanted to find. Presence. The presence of the character is just kind of, is so big that nothing else really matters. It doesn't matter if they are fighting a huge fight or a tiny fight. It's about how they feel about it and how much they're doing. And that goes for all the characters, not just the main characters. As a matter of fact, one of the best things is the small characters. There's not a single person on screen in that movie that feels to me like, oh yeah, that's an extra, That's an extra. That's like a extra agency hired somebody and then they had to say, here's your water, and they said it and they left and they got paid and that's it. It feels like every tiny character, especially the smaller parts, have this huge presence and they're so authentic and so real. I have amazing performances, basically. Okay, I haven't looked into it too much, but my feeling is that most probably they are people that are just interesting characters. I don't think they are professional extras. I don't think they are casted in that way. I think they're carefully chosen to fit the character that they're performing. It's a bit of a type casting, but a lot more inspired. That's probably my most favorite thing about this movie. And then I watched The Sinners yesterday too. Even when it was really scary for me, I couldn't look away because of how good it was. That's a crazy thing that happens with those movies. These horror films that are a little bit art house. That's a genre that is very popular. Was very popular for a while in the 2010s, I think. The art house horror, and those movies have this thing that, like, you don't, if you're like me and you don't watch horror and you don't want to be scared and you're very easily scared, you don't want to watch anything scary, but it's just so good in terms of filmmaking. It's just so good. You don't want to look away. You end up scaring yourself. The atmosphere and how immersed I felt in this whole thing was something that really, really sold it to me. I wasn't even planning to watch it all in one sitting, but I ended up doing that anyways. The atmosphere grabbed me already from the first scene, and I was just, okay, let's see what's going to happen here. So yeah, Michael B. Jordan, 2 characters. I mean, it was so extremely amazing. I mean, I guess my own question is he going to win best actor or best supporting actor, or both? Is he winning best actor and best supporting actor? How's this exactly gonna work? I have a few questions about that. I also had never seen Irish vampires before. That was a new one for me. Okay, I've seen lots of Eastern European vampires, Romanian vampires. This is something, you have this accent, the Dracula, all of those things, okay? But the Irish vampire, what? They're jumping and drinking and doing the funny jumpy dance. This is a whole new thing for me. And the first thing I thought about was like, oh my God, what a treat is this for Conan O'Brien? How lucky is Conan O'Brien that he gets the movie with the Irish vampires to make fun of. I mean, I don't know. I think that's going to be the cold opening this year. I don't know. The other movie I have seen so far is The Voice of Hind Rajad. That was the most intense watch of all of the movies. It's a real story, and this is clear in the movie, and it's clear it's done brilliantly in how they have all the ways that they've intertwined the parts of the real story inside the movie. It's extremely well done, and I think it's also necessary not only for humanitarian reasons but also for film reasons, because when you watch something like this, if it's not a real story and if it's not being clear to you that it is a real story, you actually get mad at the filmmakers, because you feel like this is too much. It's way beyond entertainment and suspense. This is just straight on abuse at this point. You feel like, what are you doing? We watched it. I don't think we spoke for like a good hour after it. Movie was over and we're just like, everybody's gathering their plate, just moving stuff around. Okay, this is just, there was nothing. There was silence for a good hour after it. The construction of the movie, and this movie actually belongs in a small genre again. I think this is small, it's like a micro genre, but I really like personally, which is a phone call thriller. I don't know if I'm gonna call it like that, but I don't know if that's a term. I don't think it is a term. And it's usually with emergency services, and there's a phone call in emergency services that the story that it becomes a longer thing, and or it can be another type of phone call that's not, but it's just to a civilian for some very pressing issue. And then everything develops almost theatrically, I would say, in an almost theatrical setting in this one location, and everything is happening. The important things are happening somewhere else, not where you are. But this creates an enormous amount of suspense as you're following the person that is there, that is in the same situation. You're in the exact same situation as the character that's holding the phone, that is heavily reliant on what's happening on the other side of the phone call, but they can't do anything. It's very intense emotionally, and it's very suspenseful, extremely suspenseful. So this is what I watched until today. What am I watching tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm gonna watch one battle after another. I think this is Paul Thomas Anderson, actually. I didn't know that, and I just saw the name when I started. And then we have Frankenstein from Guillermo del Toro. I love this filmmaker. I've watched, I think, almost all of his movies, if not all of them. And I'm very excited about it. I know it might be a little bit too scary for me, but I'm gonna do my tricks and I'm gonna move through it. But I'm very excited to watch those films, and then all the rest of the movies I'm gonna watch the week after, and then I'm gonna go watch the Oscars. So I'm already having the best time by watching all of those amazing movies with the opportunity of the Oscar Awards. So I definitely recommend that. If you like movies, you can take this week and have it a little bit of an Oscar week. Actually, I'm probably going to post this in a week, so it's going to be too late. You can take this weekend, have a little bit of an Oscar weekend, watch as many movies as you can, And yeah, who knows? If I'm in the mood, maybe I will even do like a little watch party. I can do something like that on tweets. So thank you so much for today. Oh my god, how Swedish have I become? Thank you for today. Really? That's how you're gonna close your podcast, Licky? Thank you for today. Okay, well, tack for senast. Thank you for today. And I'm gonna see you next week. Bye bye.